Asmongold can't believe this. Well, I can't believe he's finally covering this topic either. This is going to be interesting and satisfying. Let's get into it.
The reporter was fired after airing this segment exposing Pizzagate.
This segment right here, I watched it when it came out. Not directly on television, but on YouTube, the week it came out. And I knew this guy got fired and his career destroyed over this. And it's amazing that years later, Asmongold is reacting to it and it's finally getting mainstream attention.
Pizzagate. It became a major story weeks ago when an armed man decided to investigate a D.C. area pizza place for himself. This man right here, he carried a rifle into a pizza parlor and then fired it at the floor. Media is telling you the entire story is a hoax or fake news. But what does that even mean? I spent the last month investigating. So what exactly is Pizzagate? And are there any actual facts to support this story? I've got to warn you, what we're going to talk about tonight will be disturbing.
Look at his smile on his face. I can't believe he's shied away from topics like this. I can't wait for him to go down the rabbit hole in other areas too. Just wait till he finds out about World Trade Center 7. Because I guarantee you, if you're in his chat and you ask him, how many skyscrapers collapsed on 9/11? He'll say 2, because he's a normie in a lot of ways.
To some people.
Yeah.
But this is a reality check you won't see anywhere else. Pizzagate actually comes from the WikiLeaks release of hacked emails.
Hey, Navigating. This story is like nearly 10 years old, and it's finally getting some. I think Asmongold pretty much is mainstream. If he watches it, others will watch it and will retweet it. It'll spread on X, and it'll become known. So this is what I'm eventually hoping happens. Some of the topics I researched a long time ago, resurrected from the past, eventually.
Pizzagate actually comes from the WikiLeaks release of hacked emails from Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta.
Yeah, I went through and I downloaded those emails and I searched them, and because I was still in research mode back then, I wasn't writing fantasy yet, and it's clear in a lot of those emails, the context, it makes no sense for them to be actually talking about pizza. It was definitely something else. Any normal people looking at it would come to the conclusion that it's not pizza they're talking about.
WikiLeaks dumped around 50,000 email messages, and it was from those emails that the claims that John Podesta may be part of a child sex trafficking ring come from. To be clear, not one single email in the Podesta emails discusses child sex trafficking or pedophilia.
What?
They use code words for it instead.
Oh, they do if you understand their vocabulary, it does. Like, this is like saying that nothing in this email is explaining anything, but that's because the email's written in Spanish.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, retard. Which, by the way, this guy's not a retard. I'm just saying in general. It's a royal retard, right? Yeah, very obviously, if you read it for, its actual stated purpose, it makes a lot more sense. Let him cook. I get that.
That is a fact. But there are dozens of what seem to be strangely worded emails dealing with pizza and handkerchiefs. Self-described online investigators say that those words in the emails about pizza and the talk of handkerchiefs is code language used by pedophiles. So how did a D.C. pizza parlor get pulled into the story? Well, again, read any mainstream report, and they indicate that Comet Ping Pong Pizza was somehow linked to this fake story and has no relation to anyone involved. But the truth is, that's not true either.
It's not true, nope.
What media is ignoring is that the Comet Ping Pong Pizza place is actually referenced in the Podesta emails at least a dozen or so times.
That's a lot.
And that the owner of that place...
That's a lot of times to talk about one pizza place, man. Wow.
Yes, yeah. Very famous pizza place.
James Alfantis is a friend of John Podesta. He was actually named, this is kind of strange, by GQ magazine as one of the top 50 most powerful people in Washington. Yes, we're talking about a pizza parlor owner.
The pizza parlor owner is one of the 50 most powerful people in Washington. How did that happen?
Wow.
Now let's talk facts here. There is no solid evidence that Comet Ping Pong Pizza is being used to run a child sex trafficking ring.
There's just a lot of dots on the graph.
There are some very strange connections between Comet Ping Pong
it sure is interesting, isn't it?
Pizza and a second pizza place 2 doors over, Besta Pizza. and the accusations of pedophilia. Now, this is where things start to get strange when you research this story. Now, to begin, I need to show you a 2007 unclassified FBI document. That document, according to the FBI...
And keep in mind, this was in 2016 or 15, somewhere around there. So this was like almost 10 years prior to that.
Yep.
...contains commonly used symbols by pedophiles to express their preference in children. I want you to see these images here. These are the images. Notice this.
One of them is a triangle spiral logo.
One on the end, the triangle. That image signifies something called boy love. The pizza place next door to Comet Ping Pong Pizza, Besta Pizza. Well,
there it is again in the pizza logo. A triangle with a spiral in its center.
This was their logo until only a few weeks ago. Clearly, you can see that the Besta logo actually contains the same image, I'm going to show you again, as that boy lover image. Interestingly, after Pizzagate...
That's a coincidence.
Investigators pointed this out. Besta Pizza changed their logo, and there it is now.
Now it's actually just a slice of pizza.
Removed the triangle.
Smart.
Also, Comet Ping Pong, owned by Alphantis.
The thing is that every single one of these is easily explainable, easily understandable, and
yeah, if it was just the logo by itself, then that's just innocent mistake. It's the pattern. It's the pattern.
Could see something like that happen. Definitely.
Also, the emails, which clearly they're not talking about pizza.
Yeah. But there sure are a lot of coincidences, aren't there?
I want him to find out about World Trade Center 7 so much because it'll completely blow his mind if he has the same reaction I did.
And every coincidence happens to, if it turns out to be true, arrive at the same conclusion. Isn't that weird? Every coincidence leads to the same conclusion.
And eventually, when you see enough coincidences, you realize it's statistically impossible for them to all be coincidences. The odds of this happening, better luck of being hit by lightning 100 times.
Wow.
Is the place where a number of performance artists perform regularly. Two of the groups that perform there, who you can see advertised, by the way, on this Comet Ping Pong poster, include a group called Heavy Breathing and another group called Sex Stains. Well, if you check out the YouTube videos by these bands, Heavy Breathing has songs...
What a terrible name for a band.
...that do joke about pedophilia. And
bands that joke about pedophilia at a restaurant with a pedophilia symbol.
Wow.
The band Sex Stains has a video that includes, and you see it right there.
There's the spinny thing.
That same boy
the spinny triangle.
It's nearly identical to the one that the FBI does say is a pedophile code symbol for boy love. As I said, there are some strange things there. As for the owner of the pizza place, James Alphantis, well, he was one time in a relationship with David Brock, who ran Media Matters for America. Well, since Pizzagate began to blow up online, he has made his Instagram profile, Jimmy Comet, private. But
Media Matters for America, like someone with a lot of influence over the media, and he's involved in this. Just get to see how the network that manages the media narrative exists.
An archive search of Instagram reveals a number of strange photographs and
those are the photographs of like the children with their hands tied down.
Words with strange and disturbing images associated with them. Look, to the point where we can't show you those pictures. We're not even going to describe them to you because some viewers would find it too disturbing to share on TV. Now let's talk about the Podesta brothers, because remember, it was John Podesta's email that was hacked. In those leaked Podesta emails, John Podesta talks about his close relationship with Dennis Hastert, the former Speaker of the House, who was recently sentenced to 15 months in prison for abusing boys years ago.
Wow.
He was referred to
That's weird.
by the judge as a serial child molester. According to the Washington Post, visitors to Tony Podesta's home in Falls Church got an eyeful when they walked into a bedroom.
And again, this was former Speaker of the House. This is not some random congressman. This is former Speaker of the House. These are powerful men.
At the Podesta residence, hung with multiple color pictures by Katie Grannon, a photographer known for documentary-style pictures of naked teenagers in their parents' suburban homes.
Yep. He maybe knew one or two of the parts of this before, but he's learning a lot of the other dots, and it's starting to create a line. Like he always says, dots on a graph, and eventually they create a line.
All right. Yep.
And to be clear, that just begins to scratch the surface of how strange...
Also, wait, yeah, no, somebody just made something pretty clear. They were asked about this. So he went to jail for 15 months for being a serial child molester? I feel like you should be in jail for longer than that.
He was a former Speaker of the House. Powerful man. Minimum jail time.
If you're a serial child molester. Like, I mean, a serial child.
That's the way
15
Washington
months.
currently works.
A bedroom at the Podesta residence hung with multiple color pictures by Katie Grannon, a photographer known for documentary-style pictures of naked teenagers in their parents' suburban homes. And to be clear, that just begins to scratch the surface of how strange some of this stuff is. And bear in mind, we can't get into a lot of the real details of it because of the limits on broadcasting this on television. But it is some very strange stuff. Now, keep in mind, again, there is
a bunch of evidence he isn't mentioning because it's just too creepy, disturbing, and he can't show it on TV.
There's no proof here that there is a child sex ring being operated out of a D.C. pizza parlor. And
no absolute proof.
There's nothing to the story, right? Well, actually, no. And that's what you need to know.
This is the most shocking part.
All that is here, there has not been one single public investigation of any of this. Not from local police, not from the FBI, no one. And
so you have all this evidence that he just showed, but no investigation whatsoever. It's shocking.
That has to be the big question. Not for Podesta or for...
Just look at the expression on Asmongold's face. He's learning that he's becoming a believer. Not completely, but he's falling in there.
Pizza parlor owners, but for law enforcement. Based on what may be or may not be here, the big question is, why hasn't any investigation taken place? That's reality.
Yeah, why not?
Let's talk about it on Twitter.
Media Matters chairman, powerful people. I mean, they just called that pizza owner one of the 50 most powerful people in Washington. Is it really a surprise he wasn't investigated?
Where's this guy now? The segment effectively ended on the station in early 2017. Swan aired a controversial reality check episode January 2017 that discussed
watched it when it came out.
Pizzagate conspiracy theory. This led to his suspension, and he was required to take down his Associated Truth and Media website. And
a big part of what the media uses to discredit stories like Pizzagate is just omission. They just don't cover the story, and then normal people think, well, if it was real, someone would have covered it. And if it was real, someone would have investigated it and found it. No investigation, no coverage. Once you realize that the media is controlled in a certain way, and certain topics like this, or like I mentioned again, World Trade Center 7, are never, ever, ever, ever covered. And if someone like him, like this journalist, does cover it, the career gets destroyed and they get ostracized. Like Gary Webb during Iran-Contra found out this whole process. He was the reporter that broke Iran-Contra. Career destroyed, and media completely ignored the Iran-Contra.
Social media accounts as a condition of the reinstatement. Although he returned to on-air duties briefly, the Pizzagate-focused segment is widely regarded as his last official reality check, aired on mainstream.
This is why I stopped blogging, by the way, because I saw that it wasn't possible. The media, prior to COVID, there was just no way to get stories like this out. There was no Asmongold covering politics, no Free X. Considering what I was researching back then, it would have been just dangerous to continue. So I switched to writing fantasy novels.
Television. And he was fired a year after that. What did he do after that? After being fired, he published for Liberty Nation, returned to work on Russia Today America. He was involved that shortly. Swan's production company received over money into Russia again, including 12 high-profile part series Zelensky Unmasked.
Zelensky's not a good guy.
So he's involved with this.
And it's not surprising that he started working for Russia, America. If you're no longer in the good graces of Western media, the only places to go are the media, the English-speaking media of a country that is not beholden to the West, which is Iran, Russia. Those are the two that actually have big English media presence, relatively speaking. So those are the only choices.
Right-wing influencers and funded separately. He remains active on social media. Man. Wait.
And the reporter has published a sequel to his report from 2017, and it just came out on February 2nd. In time for Asmongold to react to it now. Perfect.
No shot. He did another one. Oh my God.
Epstein is...
This is literally the same guy 10 years later. He released this, I guess, yesterday. He released it yesterday.
This is what I hoping eventually happens with regard to the material I covered when I was researching during the 2008 financial crisis. 10 years later, it gets resurrected now that we finally can bypass media with people like Asmongold. Hopefully that'll happen in the future. For now, I'm just going to appreciate this.
He never stopped.
Epstein is Pizzagate. Let that sink in for a minute. Jeffrey Epstein is Pizzagate. 10 years ago, Pizzagate was by far the number one trending topic on Twitter.
Yep.
The claim of pedophile elites who preyed on children was so insane.
Back then, Twitter wasn't free, so the people that tried to talk about it, it's amazing that it got so popular despite active efforts by Twitter to suppress it and shadow ban people and etc. So if X had been free back then, it would have become much bigger.
Saying that Pizzagate was shrugged off as a wild fever dream of a conspiracy theory. I was the first mainstream reporter to dare give the facts surrounding Pizzagate. My corporate career was destroyed over it, so what? My professional reputation was obliterated. That wasn't fun.
Nope, it's
and I
not
wasn't
fun.
the only one. Anyone who dared to suggest that this might be true was blacklisted, shadow banned, or thrown off of social media. But then, just days ago, the largest dump of Epstein files revealed what some of us have been telling you for a decade, that Pizzagate is real. Not that there is a pizza parlor at the center of a child trafficking ring, but that child trafficking rings run by some of the most powerful people in the world do exist.
That is the key part.
Tonight, I want to remind you of what I told you then and compare that
10 years ago.
Pizzagate. It became a major story weeks ago.
I'm going to link you guys the video.
Decided to investigate a D.C. area pizza place for himself. This man right here, he carried a rifle into a pizza parlor and then fired it at the school.
The video.
Media is telling you the entire story is a hoax or fake news. But what does that even mean? I spent the last month investigating. So what exactly is Pizzagate?
Well, the story that came to be known as Pizzagate did not begin with a rumor.
And since this report right here isn't on mainstream news, he can show emails, he can show a lot more evidence. So it's going to be more interesting.
Nor was it created by Macedonian sheep farmers, as CNN actually once claimed.
Yes, CNN, same thing as like ivermectin is like horse medicine. They make up wild claims when they're trying to discredit something that's true.
It began with WikiLeaks, authentic, verified emails taken from the phone of the chairman.
Again, I downloaded those emails, and there were messed up emails in there. They were clearly talking about not pizza.
Of Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign, John Podesta.
And a lot of different people exchanging emails like, oh, I'm coming back to Hawaii. I really look forward to that pizza. I can't wait for that pizza. I've been missing that pizza so bad.
Emails were real. In all these years, by the way, no one has actually disputed that. Inside those emails were communications that struck a lot of people, not just online commentators, but researchers
The
and former law
vocabulary.
enforcement
Yeah.
as unusual, to say the least.
Yeah.
References to pizza and to pizza handkerchiefs and to maps, to private gatherings involving powerful people. Some very bizarre stuff. In fact, the first people to draw attention to those emails were a group of self-proclaimed pedophiles on 4chan and 8chan who claimed the Podesta was using the same terminology that they use.
Base pedophiles, I guess. I shouldn't say that, but hopefully they were pedophiles that never actually did anything. Not like the ones involved in this. Clearly, as you'll see, I'm sure in a second.
We know he's using it because we use it. No way. Oh my God. Spider-Man meme, yes. Takes one to know one. What a twist.
To speak in coded language. And in researching those emails, I found a 2010 entry.
Yeah, like seriously, pizza handkerchief isn't even that subtle of a code word. I nearly feel like digging up those old emails showcase how insane they were, but I think he's going to show a few of them now, so let's watch.
Into Urban Dictionary. It's still there, by the way. It confirms that cheese pizza is a commonly coded term for child pornography, CP.
I want you to see these images here. These are the images. Notice this one on the end, the triangle. That image signifies something called boy love. The pizza place next door to Comet Ping Pong Pizza, Besta Pizza.
The logo.
Well, this was their logo until only a few weeks ago. Clearly, you can see that the Besta logo actually contains the same image. I'm going to show you again.
I love the smile on Asmongold's face. He's like, oh my God, Pizzagate is actually real. It's going through his mind.
Pizza changed their logo, and there it is now. They removed the triangle.
Yeah, 10 years ago, I was called a dangerous conspiracy theorist and a madman for claiming that.
That's the thing. The report we saw at the beginning, nothing about it was outlandish. You could say he was wrong. Maybe these were really strange coincidences, but pointing out those coincidences shouldn't have ended his career. Nothing in that report should have been career-ending. The fact that it did, it suggests something very nefarious was going on.
Pedophiles and possibly even pedophile elites.
Can you imagine, like, bro, can you imagine being this fucking vindicated? Oh my God.
That's what I want. I want that vindication too eventually, one day.
10
one day.
years later. Holy shit.
Might use coded language, even though it was online pedophiles who said that's exactly what they do.
Of course.
Which brings us back to this new Epstein release.
Yes, the new stuff.
The word pizza is mentioned 911 times. That's right.
Epstein really liked pizza, didn't he?
Right, 911 times adults are emailing back and forth about slices of pizza and about pizza parties. And the word
lots of pizza parties.
Pizza is often paired with grape soda. In bizarre
grape soda. Now, what does grape spell if you remove the G? Just think about that. What does grape, if you remove the G from grape, what do you have left?
Context within emails addressed to Epstein by individuals whose
grape parties.
Names have been mostly redacted.
With cheese pizza. Doesn't that sound wonderful?
This is better than a Chinese cookie.
We saw this.
Let's go for pizza and grape soda again. No one else can understand.
No one else
No one else can understand.
Mr. Epstein would like to see the menu from the pizza place. Could someone send it, please?
The menu. Wonder what that menu is. Probably has some nice pictures in it, or disturbing pictures in it.
Or this one from 2014. Sit down, because I know you won't believe this. Are you sitting? Jeffrey says he wants to go out to a pizza place with you.
Yes. Going out to a pizza place with Jeffrey Epstein is something you need to sit down for. It's so amazing.
He did not mention a particular pizza place, but he knows you are in the know on this.
On this with the winky face.
Yeah, the winky face at the end. This is the type of emails that were in the Podesta. Actually, this is another level even from those. Yeah, it's emails like this. They're not talking about pizza.
Bro, with the winky face at the end of it. What's grape soda? I don't know.
Again, just remove the G from grape, and that's what it is.
I'm not sure.
Little winking emoji. All of the emails that I just shared with you were from 2014, right about the same time period of the John Podesta emails that WikiLeaks published
rape, right?
and started the entire Pizzagate saga.
Now let's talk about the Podesta brothers, because remember, it was John Podesta's email that was hacked. In those leaked Podesta emails, John Podesta talks about his close relationship with Dennis Hastert, the former Speaker of the House, who was recently sentenced to 15 months in prison for...
Again, Speaker of the House, like, it's not a nobody in Congress. This is the highest reaches of Washington.
Abusing boys years ago.
Yeah, well, speaking of the Podesta brothers, again, there was no direct evidence of them being involved in child sex trafficking from those emails. But as we pointed out at the time,
15 months,
a lot of bizarre communication, including an email.
They just love cheese pizza and grapes.
From John Podesta to his brother Tony. The subject line, "Last night was fun," and the first line reads, "Still in torture chamber."
Still in torture chamber. Explain that one to me. An innocent explanation for that one. Explain, please.
Email.
Why are they talking so much about torture chambers? Isn't that weird?
Got really
strange things going on at these pizza parties.
Really no attention 10 years ago. But today, a 2009 email from Jeffrey Epstein is getting a lot of attention.
I'm saying that with a smile face, but just thinking about it, it's absolutely horrific. Yeah. Because I'm sure some of these things ended up with something worse than grapes.
As it asks, "Where are you? You okay? I love the torture video."
To the fallout.
I love the torture video. It's good that people are finding out about this, but
totally normal thing to say. Oh, I love the torture video.
From the latest release of the Jeffrey Epstein documents, they include communications between the rich and powerful, from the co-owner of an NFL team to billionaires like Elon Musk.
CNN teams are...
Well, they don't think their emails will ever go public. And they had reason at the time somewhat to suspect it. Look at how they controlled the media. No coverage of this at all. This reporter who dared do one segment on it, his career destroyed. That's the level of control they used to have before COVID. There was no hope of getting the truth out on some subjects. Even if these emails were published 10 years ago, like they did with the Podesta emails, they controlled Twitter, they controlled the media, there was no Asmongold. What did it matter? There are stories this big that happened going back decades, and it was all never covered by the media. So you don't have to worry about if these emails leak if you control the media. I mean, what's going to happen? No one's going to find out anyway.
Are carefully sifting through the largest, and what the Justice Department says is the last batch of Jeffrey Epstein.
As proof of this, the Podesta emails basically already confirm. Pretty much anyone who looks at it with a half a brain knows that something very wrong is going on. And that happened in 2017, and nothing happened afterwards. I mean, from that track record, why do you have to worry about your emails leaking? Except now, after COVID, it's a different ballgame. There are creators like Asmongold. There's Elon Musk and X that can retweet these videos by Asmongold. It can reach half the world, bypassing the media. Now, maybe this time, there might be some consequences. We'll see.
Files.
Friday's release of millions of
There's no way it's the last one.
Pages related to Jeff.
Like I said before, I think the rest is gone. Maybe someone safeguarded it against instructions somewhere like they did in the FBI, where that guy stashed all these files in a closet that were supposed to be destroyed. If something like that happens, maybe we'll get more, but otherwise, I have to believe they got to Epstein, they got to the Epstein files too. So we'll have to see. But it's good that we've gone this much.
Jeffrey Epstein provided a closer look at his connection to world elites from Hollywood to Washington, Wall Street, to Buckingham Palace and beyond.
Yeah, well, all those so-called news anchors and their newsrooms for a decade blacklisted this topic.
They did. Yep, nobody wanted to talk about it.
Yes, I know so many news blackout topics that the media will never cover. It's amazing. It's relevant to people. It's something people would want to know about, but it never gets covered. Going all the way back to Iran-Contra and before.
About this at all.
They conditioned you to live in ignorance. They called it a conspiracy. They called me and so many others dangerous for even looking.
They didn't even hide the reason they fired that guy who was covering Pizzagate. Well, They have control, like the system, whatever, but they don't have absolute control. The fact that Trump won the election in 2016 shows that that was the first time, actually, it gave me so much hope because it's the first time they really lost control. Before that, I just watched it happen again and again. Everything went according to, like, stories like this just died, nothing happened. It was the first time things really went wrong for them. And so I think that just getting the guy fired, they didn't have... go back to Gary Webb, the guy who broke Iran-Contra. They had much more control back then. They ruined his career a lot more. Gary Webb ended up, like, I think a decade ago, found dead with a bullet in the back of his head. He didn't have it a good end. Like this guy, 8 years later, he comes back. His story gets bigger. He's probably going to have he's going to help his career. He's probably going to get famous from this. It's going to work out well for him. But if you were going earlier back in time and you tried to report against the narrative, you got destroyed. They had just too much control. And just watching stuff like, I'll just put it here, Gary Webb, dead. December 2004. He was the one who brought, Iran-Contra was the CIA flying tons and tons of cocaine back to the United States and distributing, and tons of people died because of that cocaine, and one of the biggest covert operations. And so the fact that this story, someone broke a story that was important to break, like he did, and now he's getting coverage, and now it might have a good end for him, is very hopeful and optimistic for me.
I thought it was a conspiracy too. I'll admit it. I did.
Yep. He thought it was a conspiracy too. But you just look at the evidence. Torture chambers.
I thought it was a conspiracy.
That guy who was enjoying his time in torture chamber, I want that guy in jail for like ever. If you're thinking who is in the torture chamber with him, considering it's a pizza party, yeah, I don't want that guy walking free.
Now, I'm not as sure.
For all that is here, there has not been...
That's the reason I started VTubing again, because I knew this would happen. I knew the more you see, the more you start reporting on this, the more you see stuff like this. It's one more dot in the graph, just enough dots, and you'll realize that, I mean, how did they completely control and kill the Pizzagate story? How did they completely control the Somali fraud story for over like a decade? It has to be coordination. It can't just be actors, acting in the self-interest and sort of just coincidence. No, there's a greater hand behind it.
One single public investigation of any of this, not from local police, not from the FBI, no one. And that has to be the big question, not for Podesta or for pizza parlor owners, but for law enforcement. Based on what may be or may not be here, the big question is, why hasn't any investigation taken place?
Yeah. And with these new emails, the guy in torture chamber, good God, I hope there's some type of investigation. You can't just not investigate that.
Very interesting question.
10 years later, no investigation ever took place.
Yeah, that 10 years, and he would know. This is his signature topic. No investigation.
It's a failure.
So they never looked into this at all.
Yep. And think of all the media saying that Pizzagate was nothing, it's hoax, whatever. How can they say that if there was never an investigation? Any media that's saying that Pizzagate is a hoax is just dishonest because it was never investigated.
Wow. That's so convenient for them. That's nuts. Think about that.
It's insane.
The guy only got 15 months in jail for
That's the type of insane world we live in.
being a serial child molester.
But it's optimistic. The fact that you're covering this, Asmongold, is the world is becoming a little bit less insane. I mean, yes, the story is bad, but it's even worse when you know about the story and no one else does. That's what's really horrible.
Of a complicit government.
I feel like it'd be at least 2 years.
And also of a corporate media that didn't just ignore this evil. They helped to cover it up and keep it operating in the shadow.
Yeah, it's not like they just ignore the story. To the extent they addressed it, it was to help destroy the career of anyone who's trying to expose it.
See, by refusing to engage honestly in 2016, by choosing mockery over investigation, by silencing questions instead of asking them, they created the very environment where this evil could thrive.
He's right.
They didn't
Exactly.
kill bad information.
I want to jump back to that email about torture. Do we have a date on that? 2015. Okay. So it wouldn't have made a difference for those emails, but I'm sure that stuff continued to go on since no one was arrested.
Environment
People don't do that and then stop doing that unless they're forced to.
where this evil could thrive.
He's right.
They didn't kill bad information as they pretended. They guaranteed it would survive. See, I wasn't censored the way that I was because my reporting was false. I was censored because it was dangerous.
You asked the question.
Yeah, torture chamber is so normal. Let's assume there was a child pizza in that room and in torture chamber. Do you think that that pizza ever got out and saw his family again? I don't think you can let the pizza go after something like that. So I think that torture chamber, that pizza spent the rest of its existence in that torture chamber. Yeah, it's horrible.
About the wrong
Narratives,
thing.
dangerous to reputations,
Yep.
dangerous to a media culture that had grown comfortable acting as a gatekeeper rather than a watchdog.
Bro, so fucking based. Oh my god. Yep, absolutely. That's why mainstream media died after COVID. Like, the mainstream media credibility after COVID went into the shitter.
Which is where it belonged all along, which is why all these stories are finally coming out, like the UK grooming gang and stuff like that. It's for someone who's known about it for so long. It was, well, I retreated to fantasy novels for a reason. It's depressing to know about this, but when no one else knows, you know nothing's going to change.
See, the unspoken rule
insane.
is simple. Some questions are not allowed. Not
Yep.
because they're wrong. No. But because they lead to the truth.
That's right.
And the truth
You don't
What you said right there, Gary Webb, 20 years after his death, Gary Webb's Truth is Still Dangerous. He wrote a story in his own words, like saying that he used to believe in the free media, whatever, and right up until he did that story on Iran-Contra, and then the entire media turned on him and destroyed his reputation and didn't follow up on anything he had investigated.
I asked that.
Pizzagate.
So
At least in the form of a cabal of elites and powerful people who
Yep.
delight in the physical and sexual abuse of children, is real. Remember how we started.
that's
Epstein is
terrible.
Pizzagate. But
It
the
is.
other reality it's time to accept, Pizzagate is much more and much bigger than just Jeffrey Epstein.
Man.
Hillary Clinton herself was in some of those pizza emails.
Professional career destroyed, called a conspiracy theorist, totally fucking defamed, and everything, all for 10 years later that he comes back and everything that he originally said was actually true. There's the video right there. Make sure to give him a follow, give it a like, man. That was fucking amazing. Oh my god.
Yep.
Still became a Giga Chad.
Yep, he had a good end, and that brings smiles to my face, unlike Gary Webb. But we'll see. I hopefully will have an opportunity to bring to light some of the things I uncovered that are pretty shocking. I have the uphill battle. Some of the stuff is in the financial world, and people's eyes glaze over when you try to talk finance. Oh well. This will be on YouTube. Like and subscribe, and definitely give it a thumbs up, because I think videos that mention conspiracy don't do well in YouTube's algorithm. So a comment or a like definitely helps, because this Pizzagate thing is definitely something that should be seen by more people. All right. See you next video. Bye.